Why did my wife and I start this company? We wanted to provide a service, a company that really was helping people to reach their goals. You know, back when I was 16 years old, I remember watching Anthony Robbins on TV and his late night infomercials. And I wanted to have something where it allowed me to motivate people. Matter of fact, one of our first websites was called motivatemetv.com. And I was like, man, if I ever got the opportunity to have a television network where I could put people in front of people and inspire them, I would, you know, and be careful what you ask for, because God was like, really? Bet. And it was so. So we've always wanted to have something that we could motivate and influence and inspire people to be better tomorrow than they were today. That was kind of the catalyst for OnStage PLUS. What struggles have we overcome? What struggles have we encountered and overcome? Where do I start? It's tough. You know, they always say when you have a small business, and I hate the word small because I think a business can grow as big as your imagination and how big you visualize it to be. But of course, it's the same undercapitalization. We literally invested money from everything that we were putting into it ourselves. We didn't have bank loans. We didn't have investors for OnStage PLUS. We didn't have venture capitalists or anything like that. We literally would do this job, take the money back and put it into the business. Grow the business, do this job, take the money back and put it into the business. And then we looked, and we have a saying here that if you don't disrupt, you get disrupted. So we looked at where was the market going and what was it really that we'd want to see. Because it's one thing to say everybody's going this way, but you know if you go this way, it's going to be harder because the path has not been laid out for you. But it's going to be better because as you blaze a trail and you beat this path, you are going to be the first one to realize the fruits. But you got to put in some work clearing those weeds, you know. And, you know, working with people, we've learned, I mean, some people we've had who are like, well, your prices are too high. I can get them from somebody else cheaper, you know. And we kind of fell into that trap a minute. Okay, well, we'll give it to you for this. But that's a race to the bottom. Because then somebody, only way they can really outvalue you is oh, he charging $20, okay, I'll charge 15. Then somebody else says, I'll charge 10, and somebody else charges this or that. And so you wind up really racing to the bottom, like I said, and that's just that's a losing proposition. Another thing is, you know, I had to tell some clients that, hey, I need my money up front. Well, people say, well, I don't deliver until the product is done. Well, you're gonna get the product, you know, but people go to Fiverr, guess what? You gotta pay the money up front. You don't pay upon delivery, you pay upon order. So people, you know, a lot of times we run into situations where people will see that and they'll say, okay, that's just the way they are, but then they'll come to our services and go, well, this is just the way I do it. And we're like, I understand, but this is the way we do it. So we've had to let some people go because of the fact of, I don't wanna have to chase people around after I've provided the work and rendered the service. And we were running into a lot of that over the years. So we started saying, hey, we need our money up front. There's a production event. You pay a deposit to secure the date, so it's on our calendar. And when we arrive, or 24 hours before, or when we arrive, that balance is due. And we've had people go, well, I'll pay you after the event. I'll pay you when I get the edits back. And we're like, well, we just don't work like that. No problem, I get it. That's the way they want to work. We say, hey, you can find someone else, and we keep it moving. But I got tired of actually running and chasing people around for money for services I rendered. So, you know, all money ain't good money. Sometimes you gotta let people go, you know? And that's what we do in that case. What is something I feel business owners need to know about technology? Adapt. The only thing consistent that never changes, that is certain in life, is change. You've got to adapt. Doesn't mean you need to know technology or how to use it, but you better know about it. You better know what's out there, what your competitors are using, and how to utilize that skill set. Because if you don't, oh, you're in trouble. You know, you're in trouble. And it's a shame for somebody that goes, you know, oh, I just don't do that. I don't worry about that. This has been working fine for me. But I guarantee you that person, that business owner is at a place in their business where one, maybe they're comfortable and they don't feel they're going to lose anything. And when I say lose anything, there's gonna be a market shift and people are gonna say, oh, so-and-so is doing it better over here, so I'm gonna go over here. Because then if that happens, now they're having to play catch up. Now they're trying to adapt. I like to use this story of Kodak. Kodak had an engineer that worked for them, and he actually created the first digital camera. He took it to his bosses because all intellectual property belonged to the company at that time. And he said, look, I got this thing, it doesn't use film, it uses little cassettes, these floppy disks, and we can make money with that. And they were like, blasphemer, right? How dare you? Our company is built on film. This is crazy. No, we're not interested in this, it's insane. Fuji made the first digital camera. They were like, and I don't know if the guy sold the idea to them, but whatever it was, Kodak didn't lock down that patent and that idea. So Fujifilm, which also made film, came up with the first digital camera, and the rest is history. And now, I mean, Kodak is still around, but their market share is minuscule because they had the ability to really hone in on a new technology, and they didn't because they were happy where they were at, and they figured nobody would want to use it. Another case in point, Bill Gates. Where did he get the Windows patent from? Xerox. Xerox, I think, sold it to him for pennies on a dollar. They didn't really feel it was anything viable. That man turned that into Microsoft, and we know that's $1 billion company. But at first, it was Xerox that actually had that technology, but they didn't see any use for it. Look at technology, look where it's going, and see how you can adapt. It doesn't mean you have to be the one that's creating that technology. You don't have to create an AI, but understand how to use AI. Understand how to use it in your workflow, in your processes, and your procedures, because trust me, if the rest of the world is doing it, it must be something in there that's beneficial. Like I said, once again, doesn't mean you gotta go and make your own code and create your own company like OpenAI or anything like that, but you can know how to use those systems and those chatbots and those other things to make your work easier. See how you can incorporate it into your workflow. That's important. What does our company do? We do a number of things. We have a number of different areas. One is OnStage PLUS, which is a television network, which is on the Apple, Roku, Android, LG, Samsung, Amazon Fire Stick. And we have our mobile app in the iOS and Google Play stores, respectively. So that's our television side, and we carry motivational, inspirational speakers, positive, classic black films. We also carry some comedy, original content that we have actually shot here at the network. So that's what we carry, and we're always expanding that catalog of stuff, because we always say we want to help you. If you want to drift, it's fine. Everybody now and then need to drift. But if you want to grow, you want to know, and you want to go somewhere that's going to make you better tomorrow than you were today, we want OnStage PLUS to be that go-to place. We also have an advertising arm. We actually create the advertising, we'll create the commercials, we'll talk with a client and strategize as to what's the best advertising for their brand, how to best position it. Is it going to be on social media ad buys such as Roku or YouTube, Facebook, or if it's going to be on television such as on Roku, on our network, and what's the best way to strategize to get their brand seen for what they're trying to advertise for. And on top of that, we have a success-driven community, which is our community of subject matter experts, business leaders, motivational speakers, and people that are success-driven, because that is paramount to what we're all about. So we have that. We also have our OSP Cares, which is our nonprofit, which teaches people, and primarily focused on the youth, on how to actually adapt to AI, how to use media responsibly, and understand media in this day and age, and how to really use it for their benefits. And we have our other podcast, which is called Second Wind, which talks about and focuses on people 50 and over and helps them really kind of get that passion together. And if you've worked for 20, 30 years and now you've retired, but you don't want to work for someone else, how do you go and you take that knowledge, and how do you take your desire and your drive and turn it into something sustainable, revenue generating, so you can be happy? Because at the end of the day, I believe we're all chasing happiness. Whether we're buying the car, we're buying the house, we're going on the trips, we're buying the jewelry or whatever it is, it's because of the way it makes us feel, which is happiness. So you get down to the core of this is what brings me happiness. You've identified what it is you need to do, and you can cut out all the rest. How many companies do my wife and I run? OnStage PLUS, Success Driven, OSP Cares. She's president of the state of California, Miss Corporate America. Am I missing any? Right, one company, different divisions. So I would say different entities in that way. Am I missing anything? OnStage PLUS, OSP Cares, Ticket Boss, which is our ticketing platform, Anara Healthcare, which is our wellness platform. My wife said my wife is president of the state of California for Miss Corporate America. I think that's about 5 different areas that we currently oversee. What are we looking for in a team member? This is a tough one. This is a tough one because not everybody wants to do the work. You know, we've had different opportunities we've put out on different job posting boards and social media, gotten some responses, sometimes getting no responses, depends on, you know, the time. But a lot of times when the people come, they go, okay, well, how much are you paying? Well, when is the pay dates? And automatically we're like, okay, what's your skill set? Well, you know, yeah, I'm willing to learn. But you sometimes come to the table wanting to be paid to learn. So we're looking for people that are willing to put in the work. Just like we do with our success-driven community and everything else, you've got to be willing to invest in yourself before anybody's going to invest in you. That is like the key. We're looking for someone who is hungry, who is anxious, who is serious. We've had a number of people over the years that we've dealt with, we've given opportunities to, but they haven't maximized on them. Well, I got this, but you know, I don't know if I want to continue on, or they're not consistent. We give them something and then they just ghost run off. I've had that happen many times. But I look at it, I don't take it personally. I look at this person wasn't ready to go to this next level. You know, but there are people out there, so we continue looking because we know we have an incredible opportunity here at OnStage PLUS. Whether you're wanting to be in motivation, whether you want to be in video production, whether you want to be in, the wellness space, podcasting, there's so many things we can do on behind the camera, in front of the camera. There's a lot. But I would say we're looking for somebody who's serious, somebody who's going to be dedicated, somebody who's willing to invest in themselves and put in the work. If you're willing to put in the work, we're willing to work with you and to take you to that next level. And as we're going to these places, you can go and join us. But it's pretty clear when you get on with somebody and they're not able to focus or they're not able to really put in that work as they need to be, they peter off, they drop off. I see it all the time. You know what? And I go, well, it just wasn't for them at this point. Those are words of wisdom. Wow. Don't give up. If you can bring your mind to conceive it, bring yourself to believe it, you can achieve it. And I know it might sound cliche, but it's the truth. I am a living witness. You have to think big. And here's the thing, don't share your dreams with your friends and family, not at first. Because people, your friends and family, mean well. They really want to help you and they don't want to see you hurt, and I get that. But they'll tell you, you better stop doing that. Or they might be like, you need to get a regular job and you can do that on the weekends. Do your side thing on the weekends. But now you need to pay these bills. And I get it. Definitely, the bills come due every month. I totally get that. However, sometimes just believing in yourself is enough to be able to pay those side bills and be able to pay those things. But people are not going to see it because if a person can't see it for themselves, how are they going to see it for you? Okay? It's very important that you be able to see it for yourself. So like they say, move in silence and let your actions speak loudly. When they look up and they go, oh wow. And then I hate this when I go time. How's your little business doing? My little business? Oh, my little business is fine. We just hired 4 people last week. Thanks for asking. You know, but it's one of those things where you've got to be able to keep your dreams silent. Now, there's not saying that you shouldn't advertise, but I am example. When you advertise to the market you want to attract. Don't advertise to the people that are in your circle, because chances are they're not going to support you, and that might diminish you. You know, a lot of times I hate to say it, but people will support you once they see other people supporting you. I've seen it over and over again. Once people see, wow, look at that, everybody's going there, then they'd be like, yeah, I know them, yep, I know them. I actually had a family member call me from New York once and tell, hey cousin, I'm like, hey, I haven't heard from them in a minute. And they're like, hey, you guys have the OnStage PLUS network, right? My friend got that on their TV. Tell them you my cousin. You know, I never understood that, no more than, you know, it doesn't lend any credence or any credibility. It's like, why do people take pictures with stars, right? To say I'm standing next to this person, it doesn't make that person a star, no more than standing in a garage makes you a car. But we do it. I've done it. We do it. I think it's just the proximity, you know, to things like that. But just be cognizant that your dreams are your dreams and they're yours for a reason. And if I just leave you with this, when you get an idea, act on it. Do not wait. How many times have you seen maybe an idea that you have and you say, oh, I'm gonna do that, You haven't, and then a month later, 2 months later, you see somebody else doing it. You're like, I had that idea first. Because let me tell you something. When God gives you an idea, if you don't use it, he will go, okay, you weren't ready this time? Okay. He'll take that idea and put it in somebody else and they'll run with it. And then you'll be sitting there becoming a customer of them for an idea when they should have become a customer of you. Move on it. Success follows speed. I'll say that one more time. Success follows speed. A lot of people sit around and they want to get the perfect thing and they want to do the perfect way and everything. Meanwhile, your competition, I went out there, put it out there, and I made the sales, and already now you sit up here, send out your first email, and people are like, I ain't doing that, I'm already buying it from this person. Success follows speed. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope this Q&A, I was getting a lot of questions. I hope this really answers some questions. And of course, if there's something else that you want to know or you feel wasn't answered in this video, just drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments, DM me, and I will gladly answer, because I truly believe that each one needs to teach one. And that when you get to a certain area, it's your duty to reach back and tell somebody else, this is how I do it, so they can do it too, okay? Remember, you are the best investment you'll ever make. Until next time, stay success driven. I'm David Watts.